Hello, friends. What is more dangerous, a sword raised in battle or a cup of wine at a Roman banquet? If you lived in Rome, you might say the latter, for in the empire of marble and might, poison was the quietest, deadliest weapon of all. Rome was a world of daggers in the dark, but steel left evidence. Poison, on the other hand, whispered through the veins, left no mark on the skin, and turned dinner tables into battlegrounds. To eat and drink in Rome was to risk more than indigestion. It was to gamble with life itself. The Romans were fascinated by poison. They studied it, feared it, and weaponized it. The earliest tales already spoke of Locusta, the infamous poisoner of the 1st century CE. She was no shadowy assassin in the alleys. She was a court chemist of sorts, crafting deadly concoctions for emperors themselves. Nero, that lover of excess and cruelty, made her something of a celebrity. According to rumor, she supplied him with poisons so refined that death could be timed like theater. Quick, slow, painful, or gentle, poison in Rome was not only a tool, but an art. And it was an art woven deep into politics. Consider the Emperor Claudius. History remembers him as the stammering, hesitant ruler, yet he was no fool. He strengthened Rome's bureaucracy, conquered Britain, and held the empire steady. But his downfall came not from sword or rebellion, but from the food on his plate. His wife, Agrippina the Younger, allegedly served him poisoned mushrooms, removing him from the scene so her son, Nero, could take the throne. The empire's destiny turned on a single dish. This was the genius and terror of poison. It required no armies, no legions, no rebellion, just access to the emperor's table. And in Rome, that table was always crowded, with wives, mistresses, ambitious courtiers, and rivals in disguise. Each cup of Falernian wine, each platter of oysters was an opportunity for ambition to strike. But poison was not only an imperial affair. Ordinary Romans feared it too. Laws were passed against it, but accusations flew as freely as the rumors. A neighbor's sudden illness? Whispers of poison. A wealthy senator dying unexpectedly? Surely foul play. In times of famine or plague, poison was often blamed. Women, healers, or foreigners accused of slipping toxins into wells or bread. Fear, suspicion, and death swirled together in Rome's collective imagination. What made poison so terrifying was its invisibility. A dagger could be seen, a legion could be counted, but poison, odorless, tasteless, silent, undermined trust itself. Even emperors became paranoid. Taster slaves, whose job was to sample every dish before their master, became essential. Kitchens turned into fortresses. Some rulers, like Mithridates of Pontus, Rome's great enemy, trained themselves by taking small doses of poison daily, building resistance. His name even gave rise to Mithridatism, the practice of slow self-immunization. For men who lived in fear of poison, the antidote was to make their bodies their own laboratories. And yet, despite all the fear, poison carried a strange fascination. Romans saw it as exotic, almost mystical. It tied them to the East, where knowledge of rare plants and venoms seemed endless. Snakes, herbs, minerals, these were the raw tools of silent killers. Poison blurred the line between medicine and murder, healer and assassin. When we think of Rome, we often picture battlefields, triumphal arches, or the Colosseum. But sometimes, the fate of an empire rested not on open war, but on a morsel swallowed in trust. The power struggles of emperors and senators were often decided not in senate halls, but in private dining rooms, over wine that might as well have been a weapon. And here lies the irony. Rome prided itself on strength, discipline, and spectacle. Yet some of its greatest shifts in power came not through the clash of legions, but through unseen drops of liquid, powders stirred into food, or mushrooms that were more than mushrooms. So next time you imagine the grandeur of Rome, remember this. Empire is not only toppled by armies. Sometimes it is undone at the dinner table.